Welcome to the Forever Better Academy podcast, where you will be given the principles, tools, and techniques to reach the next stage on your journey of self-mastery. Who could you become? I'm your host, Wade Vincent. What's the one story that we all believe in? I bet if you try to guess, you probably wouldn't think of this, but believe it or not, it's money. Now, when I talk about story, I'm not talking about the traditional sense of a story of a journey or a quest or the hero's journey. I'm talking the story as in a belief system that we tell ourselves. Now, the reason, and a good book on this, if you haven't already read it, is *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari. I'm not sure. I hope that's how you pronounce it correctly. And he talks on the reason that Homo sapiens have been able to expand and spread all over the globe is that ability to tell stories and cooperate through those stories because we all buy into them and believe in them, right? So money is a story. It's something we tell ourselves. The paper or plastic money, coins now that aren't made from precious metals have no intrinsic value other than the value of the material. But because we believe the story about money, we assign it value. So absolutely, I thought it's interesting to look at it like that. The story, the one story we all believe in, no matter what your culture is money or a system of trade bartering, basically, currency. So that's what I want to talk through today, because I know it's one of those things. It's a sensitive topic or a touchy topic, certainly. Everyone has a different relationship with money, and as per the title of this episode, is your relationship with money on the rocks? What is your relationship with money like? So I wanted to dive into that a little bit because, especially in my experience, I've very much been on both sides of the fence, and I think I can talk well to what it's like believing one thing about money versus believing another thing about money, being the complete opposite. So for some background, when I was little, I was raised by my mother, a single mother, just myself and my sister and mum. And mum worked very hard to support us. We were very blessed to have a dedicated and supportive, strong mother. In a time especially when I was growing up where, it's still not equal now, but women in the workforce and women in male-dominated workforce in the 70s and 80s had a very, very tough time. My mother being no exception to that. So all my life, I watched my mother have a very counterproductive relationship with money. So she didn't come from money. As a family, we didn't come from money. We didn't have a lot of it, so didn't really understand it. Didn't know how to utilize money as the tool that it actually is. So growing up, Mum would basically follow the normal footsteps of the everyday person, most people, in the debt cycle, in that trap of borrowing more than you can, living above your means to get by, and then in essence trapping yourself into working for your entire life to pay back the money you borrowed from your future self, right? So I watched. And by no means, this is the thing too, I want to make clear from the beginning, we didn't miss out on anything. And I know if I asked my mum, she probably wouldn't ever change any of it. She did what she had to do with the knowledge she had at the time to provide for her family. So we weren't without meals on the table. She always made sure that, you know, there was a roof over our head. We were educated, clothes on our back, and she did a fantastic job. So it's not that I would ever down talk how she approached it, because she provided for us. But learning from that and growing up in that environment and being what's the word? I guess handed down a certain belief set or a system of ways to approach money by somebody who doesn't understand money can set you back, right? So all my life watching mum, she would take, she'd get a credit card. And then she would pay bills with the credit card. And then when that card was maxed out and it was becoming overwhelming and it was too much to deal with, the interest on the card, she couldn't even pay down the interest. She would then transfer that card balance to a 0% interest for 6 to 12 months balance from another provider, and basically just keep bouncing the debt to different credit providers. So never ever really getting rid of the debt or trying to pay it down, and just constantly taking lines of credit to provide as we went along. So as I said, we didn't really come from we didn't have savings, especially when we were little, when mum was at home with us before she was able to work, because we were old enough to basically we were those latchkey kids, to be left at home alone so that she could head out and know that we were safe. And it got to a point where pretty much she carried a debt right up until she retired, and then from there got her superannuation. So in Australia, it's almost like a forced savings scheme where some of your income is deducted on a weekly, monthly, whatever your pay cycle basis is, and then that money is in essence invested in sort of blue chip safe stocks for you in the way of removing the onus on the government to pay a pension as you retire, because you've been forced to save and invest your money as you've been through your working life. So when it came time for mum to retire, she took her superannuation. She was in debt because of 30 plus years of taking lines of credit just to provide for her family, and paid the debt off with most of her super, and now is retired and has no money left. So very much a position where now she's lucky in a sense that the government will still give some money as a pension because of her age, and it was a transition between superannuation and out of pensions. So for context, when I receive superannuation, when I retire, there is no such thing as a pension for my generation and beyond from Australia. So she now is in a position where she needs to continue to work. So my mum is just shy of 70 years old, and if she, wants to ensure that she has money coming in, she has to work again. Now, growing up and watching this and observing this and seeing that struggle and understanding how challenging and difficult that was for her and us as a family, to sort of see the position now that she's in because of that, was one of those things that I never ever wanted to replicate in my life. So I very much got money lessons not from being taught the correct way to utilize money as I said, as that tool that it is, but observing and seeing the burden of that approach in taking lines of credit and selling your future time to pay off the money that you're taking now, And I never wanted to have that experience. I don't ever want to be involved in that at all. And for a good portion of my life, well into my 20s, I never ever had a credit card. Never. Because I didn't want to get involved. And then the times that I had, eventually decided that it was, useful for me, and I didn't understand credit to use it in the correct way at this time when I did take credit cards for the very first time. Same deal. Ended up biting me, paying multiple thousands of dollars in interest and just wasting money. And the key to remember too, just as I sort of steer off to the side for a little moment, is that all the money that you spend or invest poorly now is a greater cost of opportunity lost, because that say $1,000 as an example that you have maxed out a credit card, say if it's a small $1,000 credit card, what that actually costs you to pay it back versus the $1,000 if you invest it wisely in something that's going to give you a return and compound over time. It's the cost is far greater than that $1,000. What you're significantly losing over that longer term play is just mind-boggling when you really look at it and understand what it's costing you, right? So I had this immense desire to never treat money like my mother did. I didn't ever want to be in debt. I didn't want to, or debt that doesn't benefit me, right? So just the typical everyday borrow money, live above my means, and then spend the rest of my life paying back that debt. Internally, I think I felt I had a bad story that I would tell myself about money, because I really I inherited the narrative from my mother, who probably inherited from her family generations beyond and before I was here. And little things that you don't realize at the time that instill this belief system on you about money. Like, I can recall my mother used to say things like, let's say we'd go on the weekend, maybe we'd go to the park and get like fish and chips or some hamburgers or something nice, right? And we just go down to the park and we'd sit and have like a little picnic and play as kids. And countless times my mother would say, I wonder what the poor people are doing today. Always. It was always like a catchphrase, right? So she would say that in jest, being basically insinuating that we're the poor people. We're in the park. We're the ones sitting there because we don't have a lot. And not to say it wasn't fun times at all, but the putting that framing yourself as you're already setting yourself behind, because you're saying, we're the poor people, we're the poor people, we're the poor people constantly, that you just begin to accept that as your narrative. That's okay. Well, we're poor. And another thing I've thought about recently too is like the little things, like when someone says to you, money is the root of all evil. No, it's ridiculous. That was one of those things, and that held me back for a very long time. When I used to hear that and believe that and feel like, if you pursue money, there must be something wrong with you. There must be, you must be like a bad person. You're deceitful. You don't care about others. You just want to take and all you care about is yourself. And it's absolutely ridiculous if you really think about that. Look at the people in the world that are doing amazing things and fantastic philanthropy, changing the world and helping people in need, are the ones that have money. It takes resources to change things and make an impact in the world and do great things. You need the tools, being the money. There is nothing wrong with chasing money if there is a cause behind it of value, that you know it's in service of others, it benefits others, you're able to provide for your family, and you should never feel guilty for wanting to do good things in the world. And if good things take money, then go and get some money. All right, it's very, very straightforward. So I never liked the whole money is the root of all evil. You know, it's really, money is a magnifier, right? If you would look at it like, if you're, as I said, money is a tool, right? So keep that frame of mind. So if you're a good person that cares about others and maybe does, volunteer work, good things in your community, you donate to charity, you try to do your part to better society and make an impact on your community, right? If you have more resources and more money and more, being that tool, could you help more people? Mother Teresa, basically considered a modern day saint. Would you say that she was a bad person because she was able to raise millions of dollars and impact and change people's lives around the world? The money that she raised that helped and assisted people and changed and impacted their lives, that they might not have ever had any opportunity or ability to feed themselves or clothe themselves had she not pursued that interest. What about when, I know I heard this a lot when I was a kid, I'm not sure if many of you out there heard this, but we were constantly told, after handling money, wash your hands, money's dirty. Don't forget, wash your hands, money's dirty. Everyone touches it, it's dirty. Yes, I understand the truth in multiple people touching it. Yes, it's got bacteria on it like anything else. But that becomes ingrained, you're constantly hearing that association, that money and dirty constantly, and you start to believe these negative traits or aspects of money. And as I said, it's a magnifier. Let's say, for example, you are the opposite of someone like a Mother Teresa, and you're not a good person, you're not a kind person, you don't care about others, and you'll do whatever it takes to crush other people and get what you need at the expense of others. Yeah, when you get money, you're gonna be able to do more of those horrible things. Money is that tool that allows you to build upon what you're already trying to do in your life. It just creates more options and to do what you're already doing in a greater capacity. So it's really not about money being inherently good or evil. People are inherently good or evil. Money is just a resource like anything else. So when I was going through these different sort of experiences and lessons as I was growing and understanding how my family thought about money, and just seeing the struggle and the difficulty that it caused us, it almost becomes an obvious thing. If you're a kid growing up poor and you don't have a lot of things, you don't miss out, but you don't have opportunity or ability to get the best education or live in a nice area or a safer area or have a car that's reliable or a car at all, right? You start to be like, well, there's got to be a better way. Surely there's another way that I can approach this and live my life where I don't have to go through these same struggles. So as I said, I watched my mum struggle continually. There was never an easy moment for 30 years. There was never a moment where there was a relief because it was week to week. Just 30 years of struggle. 30 years of struggle. Right? So I took it very seriously that I wanted to learn and understand the rules of money. If I'm going to change something, I need to understand. And that was that huge first obstacle, the brick wall that I needed to shatter and break through, was that I didn't have any understanding of how money worked. How are you supposed to I don't like the word gather, right? But how are you supposed to earn money, get more money for your family, and grow your ability and maximize your efforts to be rewarded for it? So I spent a great deal of time as I went through my journey of I'm always on the journey, but as I began my journey to try and improve and better myself, finances and money and investments and just overall financial freedom is a huge portion of that. So I spent a great deal of time trying to understand, if I need to know and learn about money, what's the first logical step? How do I approach this? What do I do? So I started looking for people that had done what I wanted to do, that were of an ability to provide a level of wealth for their family that I would also like to provide for my family. So the key was, although I didn't have people that understood money around me or access to money, the very first step I could do was question, what would I like to learn? What do I need to learn? What do I need to understand? And when I had that clear goal, that vision, that path, that outcome, then I was able to take the next logical step, reverse engineer it. Okay, so if I need to understand how to get to X level with the financial freedom that I desire, who has done that? Who can I get access to, and how do I get access to those people? So I spent, like anyone, the logical step is to start grabbing money books. One of the best investments you will ever make when you're starting out is investing $20, $30, $40, $50, whatever it may be, to purchase a book on money. One of the best investments you'll ever make. It will return itself, tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. You have to take that money education into your own hands and start the process. So when you, and that's another thing too. It's interesting, you can't be afraid to spend money. Money was designed to be spent. It's supposed to change hands. You've got to utilize money as the tool that it is to get the outcome that you so desire. So right from the beginning, went and purchased books, investment books, personal finance books, how to clear yourself out of debt books, your relationship with money, just concepts and framework around that story, right? To really reframe what money means and how to understand what money truly is. So I basically went on this quest of trying to understand and learn as much as I could. And then once you go through that first initial phase, you're then sort of hit with the next obstacle, right? And as I said, I didn't have a lot of money. So how do you start to bring more money in? It's not, and it's not about attracting money. I don't like that. There's no luck or, you create that. You can't treat money almost with the level of superstition, right? You can have anything that you want in this world. Absolutely anything, as long as you are prepared to pay the cost to earn it. Now, the cost could be physical money, the cost could be time, the cost could be your effort, the cost could be your attention. If you are prepared to make that trade, you will receive what you're after. You have to earn it. So the next logical step, right? So as I'm saying, if your relationship with money is on the rocks, first step, start investing in financial literature. Buy some books, even if they're not fantastic books, you will learn something. Take the first step, pick it up. And as you start to read more books, you'll understand which ones are worth reading, which ones aren't worth reading. And you start to grow and understand and see the patterns and the traits that are common amongst, successful individuals or high earners, because success leaves clues. You're not the first person to try and achieve this. There's a pattern there. There are rules within the game, and if you learn them and master them, you can absolutely easily follow them and achieve the same wealth that you desire that other people have done before you. So from there, I didn't have a lot of access to rich people. So I'd read some books, I'd learned, I'd watched things online, do the work, earn it, earn your understanding. From there, there's sort of two ways. So you can either, the quickest way to start upping the income that's coming into your household is you either reduce expenses and expenditure, or you increase your capacity to earn. Now, I would 100% recommend increasing your capacity to earn, because what that does is it shifts your mindset. Now, this is a key element of this here is the main difference between rich people and poor people is mindset. It's scarcity versus abundance. Okay? Scarcity being there's not enough, abundance being there's more than enough for everyone. It's not a win-lose equation. It's win-win, okay? So, for example, poor people will look at something that they desire that's out of their reach. And their response will be, I can't afford it. It's too expensive. Rich people, and not just rich in the sense of money, rich in wealth, which is a mindset, rich in abundance, rich in ability and opportunity to take ownership and change the course of your life because you own it. Rich people will look at something that they are after, they desire, they want, and they will say, how do I earn enough to get that? How do I achieve that? What do I need to do in order to get the result that I'm looking for? And that's the key difference between rich and poor. It's mindset, scarcity versus abundance. Right? So that was the first thing I did. I cut down expenses, obviously, where I could, but no, you don't get rich from saving money. Okay? Right now, interest rate is low. Based on inflation, the money you're saving, inflation's going up higher than interest. Your money is worth less the more you just sit it in a bank and save it. It's not working for you. It's not earning you money. You're losing money just by hoarding it. So you have to take that money, put it to work, use it as a tool, as I said, and make that money grow, earn more money, get it working. It's a machine, right? It's part of the system, the rules and the story about money. You have to learn and understand these. So the key from there, after reading those books and not having access to wealth or money to invest, I had to take the next logical step. What do I do now? I increase my earning capacity. So I spent time improving the skills that are sought after, the desired value that I can bring to my job, to my work, to my business, to myself, that is sought after skills that are in demand. And once you get better at those things, your earning capacity will rise accordingly because you are sought after. You are of more value. Now, money is that, remember I said currency, it's that trade. So if you can provide value that is worth $50,000 a year as a salary, then you'll be paid $50,000 a year. If you can solve unique problems that not everyone can do, things that are difficult, things that people find challenging and not everyone's prepared to do. Your value that you can contribute is greater, therefore your earning capacity is greater. So as I said, and I've talked about this in the past, I spent the last 5 years improving myself, and in that time I was able to work with my partner, and we cleared out our debt. Completely gone. No credit cards, no debts, and position ourselves in a way that we improved our skill set and went from, I just beyond my wife, my own ability, I tripled my income. I tripled my earning capacity. And from there, it just continues to grow, because each new level, each new step is another opportunity to learn the next part of the game, the next step, the next stage, right? And as you start to increase your ability to earn, suddenly there's not concern around, do we have enough money to pay bills? Can we afford this? Can we afford that? You have that extra because, and this is key too, when you get to that point and your earning capacity increases, don't spend more. If you've proven that you can already, survive or exist or, manage your expenses on that level that you were previously at, you take that greater income, the higher level that you're now achieving, and you double down, invest that money to turn it into more money. Put that money to work, because the small sacrifices that you make from the beginning, those become the freedoms down the road, where you get to a point where if you don't feel like working, you don't have to, because your money is working for you. You can't just work for money. You need the money to work for you. Does that make sense? So stay below your means. And as you increase your ability to earn and provide more because your value to society is greater, you will be rewarded accordingly, and then you utilize the cream on top, the extra money that you're earning, and you start learning how to invest that money, how to put that money to work, how to use that money to generate more money and bring freedom for your family and for others. You can do good when you have the right tools and you have resources. I promise you, your life is 1,000 times better. It's a much nicer feeling being able to provide a good education for my kids and not have to say to them, I'm sorry, I can't send you to a nice school. I'm sorry, we can't afford for you to go to the movies with your friends. I'm sorry, buddy, we can't go out to dinner. And that was what it was like when I was a kid, My mum said, put it back, we can't afford it. And it wasn't a question. So after all of that, beyond, and it's not just about money, right? The money, again, I don't want this to be confused, because the money is the tool. And it is fantastic. It makes your life easier. It removes stress and anxiety and problems. When you have money, you have options, you have freedoms, you have ability to do things that you don't have when you don't have those resources. But beyond that, the true joy comes from the person that you become, because you understand as you go through this and you learn and you grow and you increase your ability to make an impact in the world or be of greater value to your community and your family, you've transformed into a whole new person. You've become the kind of person that you need to be to achieve the things that you've tried to achieve. And that's what it's all about. That's Forever Better Academy, 100% in a nutshell. The journey. Who could you become? What kind of person do you become at the end of it when you can sit back? Let's say you've done your education on finance, and you've increased your earning capacity, and you've started to put your money to work for you, and you're sitting back with your loved ones, and it's Christmas Day, and you have all your loved ones around you in a beautiful, safe home, and there's a fire going, and you have a beautiful dinner on the table. There's presents for all the children and the grandchildren under the tree. You're all healthy. You have security, you have freedom, you have options, and you sit there and you can see the fruits of your labor and the joy that truly comes from the person that you've became. What a wonderful feeling. And I know which one I would rather be. I know I would rather be there experiencing that than telling my son I can't put a present under the tree. And I've been there. I've been in that position where I can't provide for them like that. And I promise you, it's not a place you want to be. So I hope that you guys get some value from this and understand wherever you are in your financial journey. I hope that you take that on board and take those steps and see where it leads you. Okay? Now, this is just by no means, I just want to make this clear too, by no means I am not a financial advisor. But I know some things that I've learned along my way that have helped me, and they may help you. This is Wade Vincent. Thank you once again for being here and enjoying the Forever Better Academy podcast. If you know someone that struggles with money or doesn't understand or is excited to learn or is curious and would like to understand what the next step is for them to improve and grow and get better with money, share this with them. Tell them the story, share the lessons, pass it on. Because the more that people can be in control and take ownership and be empowered within their own lives to provide for themselves and their families, that has a flow-on effect that benefits many, many others. All right, thank you guys for being here. I look forward to talking to you again next week, and enjoy your weekend. Bye, guys.